Hi guys, my name is Sagar. I'm an architect and I live in Australia. This is my watch story. The watch I wanted to talk to you guys about today is my Omega Seamaster 300. It's this guy right here. This has been my daily beater for about 13 years now, so it's been quite a while since I've got it. I remember the first time I'd seen this watch, and it was in the mid-90s when GoldenEye came out, and I remember seeing this piece on screen and going like, wow, what an amazing piece this is. And I couldn't wait till I could get my hands on one. It took a while. I went to university, finished that, I got my job, and I think I maybe would have waited for the first couple of paychecks to come in, and I made a beeline to my local lady and picked this guy up. And this has pretty much been part of every adventure I've been on ever since. The one that really stands out to me was about 7 years ago, 2013, when I got a chance to do my PADI open water diver's license. And I got a chance to do it at the Great Barrier Reef, which was an amazing experience. I highly recommend it for anyone. So the course itself was about 5 days. Of that, the first 2 was training in a pool, and there were about maybe 40 of us from all over the world. And the next 3 days, we actually lived on a boat, and the boat would essentially just go from one dive site to another, and we do 3 to 4 dives a day, and it was a great experience. I think the one that really stands out was we did a night dive. Yep, actually at night, pitch black. All we had was full of all gear on, a couple of chem lights stuck in our tanks, flashlight in hand. And each group had a couple of instructors with us to guide us through the dive. And they had a static line put in, and we would just sort of hold on to that and descend so that we would stay together as a group. I remember the instructor got us down, and he took us down to the seabed and got us to kneel down. And he kind of motioned to us, like, just settle down, be quiet, don't move. And then he passed his hands through the sand on the ocean floor. And there was this cloud of bioluminescent creatures that just sort of like just came out and engulfed us. And I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. It actually felt like I was in space and looking out at the stars. It was that awesome a sight. So that'll always stay with me. That wasn't the most interesting thing that happened on that dive either. So we were down there for about 12 to 14 minutes. I can't recall exactly. But then eventually we started to come back up. We got up to our safety stop, and then we had that bar suspended below the boat, and we were just waiting there for the time to take over before we can rise to the surface. And the instructor motions to us, and he sort of gets our attention, and he's pointed his flashlight in the distance. Now this is we're sitting a few meters below the surface, so there's a little bit of moonlight that's still penetrating through, so we can kind of make out shapes in a murky haze. And we actually saw this gray shape go past in the distance, and it actually was an adolescent shark that was circling that safety stop. And all of us there, I think, although we couldn't speak to each other, I think we all shared that panic of that moment. We were like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen next. Fortunately, nothing happened. It kept its distance. I think it was just interested in checking us out and what we were doing in its territory, and then it sort of went off on its way and when it came back onto the surface. So that will always stay with me as an awesome experience that I got to do. And I actually got to use this piece for what it was designed. And so this is not just a test diver, it's actually been on a real dive. And I'm sure it'll be a part of many more adventures for me in the future. Thanks for watching, guys.